I think one thing that we've done a good job of is I get more entrenched in franchising in general. You start to learn what makes a franchise tick, really, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone says it, but I don't think you know until you're in it that really the strength of the franchise is the health of the franchisee.
Yep.
Period. And when I say health, I mean of their business, right? Matt Helland, what's up?
What's going on?
I don't know. We were just making fun of each other.
It is. Is this the last podcast of the year? You got more in you?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I gotta squeeze another one in here or something. I don't know, dude. I think I got a few in the hopper. They asked me to get them in early, the podcast production company, because I think they've got a lot of people out. But we've been pumping. So I'm getting them in as quick as I can.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. And, before we begin, it would be cool to have you on the last podcast of the year, and then maybe the first one for next year.
Okay,
you're an OG. You're one of the OG guests. We started it.
I am the OG. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
OG guest. How do I get to be a guest? If you're on like 150 podcasts,
you're still a guest.
Are you a guest?
No, you're not. Because I'll give you a secret. When I have to fill out the form when I'm submitting the
Co-host?
Raw materials, it'll say, "Did you have a guest?" And when it's you, I go, "No."
Otherwise, I wasn't even there.
Otherwise, I have to make a picture of you in there and do all this bullshit. I'm not doing that.
Oh God. Well, maybe next year I'll get to co-host.
I'm
too busy for you anyway. I don't even need you.
You're not in the podcast world anymore. I haven't figured out how to monetize this stuff. Not even that I'm drinking my Celsius by, I don't know who owns the company. I would try to do a promotion for them, but you know what? Screw these guys. They don't.
Celsius made it.
Yeah. Maybe those other drinks I used to drink, they never sponsor me either.
Well, keep trying.
I know. And I've got at least my mom, maybe yours, and maybe one other person's mom.
Not even my mom.
Okay, just my mom. All right. Well, thanks, Mom. But what we are going to celebrate, and it is really exciting, is we have awarded our 300th franchise. Actually, we did it a minute ago, but we blew right over it because we're running and gunning.
You know, it blew right over your dad joke.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited. It's good.
I'm very excited about 300, but I do have a dad joke in mind. Do you have one?
I got one.
All right, you go first.
I got a solid one for Christmas. What is the best present? Broken drums. You can't beat them.
Oh my God, dude. So bad. You know, I forgot mine.
You already forgot.
Oh wait, no, I got it. I'm like, a total blank brain.
That's why I had to write it down.
How do you put a baby astronaut to sleep?
I don't know.
You rock it.
Yes. That's pretty solid.
Thanks.
We need just a compilation video of all the podcasts and dad jokes put into one. That'd be good.
Did you hear that, production company? We're gonna do a compilation dad joke podcast. I feel like I've repeated it at least 10 times. Different
I'm sure
jokes. So yeah. Or guests will come on and like, I got one, and they must Google like dad jokes, and they end up on the same place that you and I do.
Yep.
And so they will just read one off, the first one they like, which by the way we've probably used 10 times, but I don't have the heart to tell them. Always like, oh, it's a good one.
Go back to Did You Knows next year.
I liked Did You Knows, but other people didn't.
No, not fans.
I just
dad jokes play.
I'm very curious. Remember when you would bring up like, hey, did you know this? And I'm like, did you know that woolly mammoths are, I'd just go full on. It was like the whole podcast is going to be about breeding woolly mammoths and putting them into Indian elephants, which is their closest DNA relative. I mean, I go nuts on stuff. I go deep on stuff. I'm really curious that way. But I think other people were like, okay, they don't want to hear all that. I like Did You Knows, but I don't know. Maybe we'll mix it up. What we are going to talk about is, I say lessons learned, but maybe how about observations that we've made with 300 awarded. And with that, it's about 75 open now, or
70, as of today? Yeah, it's like 75 or 76.
Yep. So we'll have 80-ish open by year's end. Is that right?
Early next year.
Okay. So early next year, how many clubs in pre-sale right now?
Well, let's see. We just in our, 6 clubs here last week. So we got like 15 to 18 off the top of my head.
Yeah, in pre-sale. So that's another 20 on top of the 75. So we'll be there really soon. And then after that, we're opening about 5 clubs a month. So we can plan on about 5 a month. And we certainly have our budget for next year on sales and everything else. But it's really interesting to look back at 300. I mean, it's wild to think that when we started in 2019, I think we awarded 8 licenses like right out of the gate. And I'm like, this is like the easiest business ever. Of course, not having to open them or anything yet, just awarding them. And then of course, COVID hit and it really just threw us for a tailspin. So to say that it's been 300, it's really been 300 in like 3 years.
Yeah.
because we started in mid 2021. So you could say mid 24, probably later 21, we really got cranking.
Yep.
So a little over 3 years to get to 300, which is awesome. And last year was weird. I mean, it was it was an election year, which all of franchising was a bit off last year, which was interesting. So, oh yeah, I'm thinking last year.
God, you're already in 2025.
Yeah, I'm already
You're like in the future.
I'm ready to get out of this year for that reason. But yeah, we, 24 has been a weird year. And so we started out hot, and then it just sort of slowed down the closer it got to the election. And then we've only had one discovery day since, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
So club performance has been steady. That wasn't affected by the election, but bigger investment, like a franchise investment, was slower. So I think we're going to end up
right?
all across the board. Like we're still the number one brand with the FSO Repum that we work with. So still doing a great job. And we're talking about 14 really, and they don't bring on anybody that they can't sell and scale. So it's not like those are not good franchises, and we're still tops. So, when you look at it.
Did you hit the camera roll?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, freaking out.
No.
Not to mess up your flow, but I was
That's
like,
all right. I'm not flowing. Where was I?
This one's all
I lost it.
You were in 2025 anyway.
I know. I'm already in the future. Bro, I'm in the future. I'm living in the future. But when you look at us being the best of all those brands, franchising overall was off. And so when you look at 23, we awarded nearly 150. And this year, it looks like we'll cruise in at like 85-ish, maybe.
Right. Which is nothing to scoff at.
Well, that's the thing. What's funny is I was talking to a guy, a friend of mine referred me to somebody in the industry recently who's like, he bought an older, mature franchise, and he's been charged with like sort of bringing it back to life, right? And he's like, yeah, man, we crushed last year. I'm like, did you? He's like, yeah, it's great. He's like, we awarded, like, we're back on it. We awarded 30 locations this year. I'm like, He's like, how about you guys? I'm like, yeah, man, off year, like 85. And he almost fell out of his chair. I'm like, well, last year's a 150. So for us, that was like, that's a decent year, right?
Sure.
But to your point, in almost any system, unless you're just a freak, and we're just used to dealing with the cream of the crop and hearing these like crazy outlandish numbers, 80-something franchises awarded is really good. So
yeah,
we're budgeting next year somewhere between that 150 and that 85, which I think is doable for the foreseeable future. We've still got plenty of runway and green area open for really good territory. So we're cooking, we're doing good.
What's our big goal? What's our BHAG?
BHAG's 800 by 2030, which we were on pace. I mean, we would have been there early if we kept the same pace that we did in 23. This year put us more on pace, but we really need to hit that middle ground of that 100 a year to get there.
Right.
So we'll get there. And that's not 800 open, that's 800 awarded. Right. So with that, we'll probably be at 600 or who knows? Depends on sales speed, right?
You'll never see me again. He's so busy. Barely making now.
Yeah, exactly. He barely makes it now. Well, you'll have a whole team at that point, which you do now, but you'll just keep scaling that. So, but yeah, you want to just do 3 observations from?
Sure. What you got?
The first one I have is it's all about people. And what I mean by that is I think one thing that we've done a good job of is I get more entrenched in franchising in general. You start to learn what makes a franchise tick really, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone says it, but I don't think you know until you're in it that really the strength of the franchise is the health of the franchisee.
Yep.
Period. And when I say health, I mean of their business, right? And so I think for us, because we had spent so much time in this space, you and I especially on the team are the two of us really coaching random clubs from all over the world. You're right. Coaching people in Albania and then a low-cost gym in Arkansas. And I mean, we're all over the place, right? So, So we knew it was about like club performance. It's like, if we just stay focused on making our franchisees be successful, then everything's going to be okay, and we're in a bit of a unicorn because we're bootstrapped. It's just Suzanne and I, and bootstrap can indicate like we're underfunded. We're not. We're already royalty sufficient. We're cooking with oil. We're doing well, but we're a bit of a unicorn in the sense that we didn't start with VC money, and we did start with the right lens. I'm really proud of the fact that, like, as much as franchising can seem contentious at times, and you have a labored relationship at times with franchisees because it's not to be derogatory to franchisees, but in the dynamic, it can feel like parent-child, like we're trying to put guardrails up, they're trying to stretch their wings, right? Mm-hmm. And somewhere in the middle is where the rubber meets the road and where the magic happens. And so you're trying to let them be entrepreneurs while also keeping them on the right path. And there's a proven thing. We've done this before. And so it's difficult, but I'm really proud of the fact that we kept the franchisee as the main focus. And I can't tell you how many leadership meetings I've been in where I've heard just you personally, and you're really probably the most competitive person other than me, or maybe more than me on our team, where it's like you want to win like all the time, right? Like for you, it's like you just get so bent if we're not just crushing and winning, which I love that about you, right? Because like competitive spirit, that's it, right? But also, I can't tell you how many times that you, being the most competitive person on our team who is looking at data all the time, right, will say in a meeting, like we'll be like, okay, what about this or what about that? And you'll be like, we just can't do that. Like we have to do this. And that choice is always pro people, right?
Sure.
It's like there's a human being on the other end of this thing, right? And I know that we know that, but like, look, man, when you're running and gunning and there's numbers, and it's like it's easy as a team to start looking at just data and not relevant data for franchisees, but like there's a bunch of things in a franchise. And I appreciate the fact that at any given time, whether it be me, you, or anybody on our leadership team, or even our team members that are not on the leadership team, they really keep the people at the forefront because it's a human to human business. Almost everything is, unless it's some kind of AI online widget or something. But for us, we're in a human capital business. It's really important. And I'm really proud of the fact that, like, even though there's a job to be done, there are hard decisions to be made. There are things like it's very litigious, our business at times, right? But to keep the people at the forefront is really important. And I think look, I mean, if you're a franchisee listening to this, you might be like, yeah, sounds great, but how come you're not letting me do this and that? And I want to try this new marketing thing. It's like, well, we tried it. It didn't work. But I promise you, like, from our lens, I'm really proud of the fact that it's people first.
Well, I mean, that's the whole vibe of our franchise and what we preach to our franchisees, right? You say it all the time, the relational, not transactional relationship. So like treating our franchisee the same way I would treat an actual client back in the day. That's kind of the lens, and it goes a long way. It filters them through them to their teams, their business. But I mean, like you said, they're people, and this is a business. There's a lot of stressful points, and like one small thing I always try to do is just pick up the phone when they call, or just be available, right? Whatever it is, just try to like pick it up, set up a time, like just make sure they're heard. And generally, like whatever any issues are, there's always going to be issues. If you just do that, it helps so much, right? I mean, it. I mean, you do it all the time yourself, but it's like just be available for them, and then that's that people component. And generally you'll have a good relationship.
Yeah. And I mean, those conversations aren't easy. That's why we have sincere candor as a core value. But there's a lot of people that certainly early in the franchise knew me well. They may have my cell phone number. They reach out and they're like, hey, can we jump on a call? I'll talk to you guys. Everybody on the team's already talked to them. But I know what that means. Like, I don't think that person is expecting a different answer necessarily.
No.
They just want to be heard. And it makes them feel good to know there's a human being on the other end of this relationship, whether it be me, you, Suzanne, whoever that is that really cares about the people, right? And if we ever have something that like a conversation that we need to have, Suzanne has lots of hard conversations, but she jumps on the phone and she genuinely cares about franchisees, and that's where everything starts. And I don't always see that, and I'm not throwing shade at any specific franchise structure, but I don't always see that on the other end of franchising. There's a game going on behind the game, but I think you can do both. I just don't think it's easy, right? Like you can start off hot with VC money, you can sell a bunch, it could be on trend, you sell it to private equity and you ride off into the sunset and you just leave this like crumbled house of cards behind you that is in shambles in a few years. And I don't want to do that. Like, I've been in the business a long time. So it's really important to me that we approach things with integrity and that we keep the people at the forefront, because we're human beings. At the end of the day, we're all if we do a good job, we're going to make money, we're going to have a successful business, but how we do it is really important to me.
Absolutely.
And it is to you as well, right? Because like I said, in a leadership meeting, like the guy that's most competitive, who I would think would be like, screw that. Like, we just need to win at all costs. It's like, you'll be like, no, we can't do that. Like, these are people and this is the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, good point. So I think we all do it, even you being one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive guy on the team, right? Yep. It would be easy to forget that, and you don't. And I would say I'm really proud of that, of you and the whole team. So
yeah, do awesome. Well. Let's keep it going.
Second one is the why really matters. And I think franchising can be difficult. Like I said, it can be very litigious. There's a lot of moving parts. It's a top heavy business. It's sometimes you forget like what you're franchising. Like, franchising is a business in and of itself. And then there's the business that we're actually in at the ground level. And they're almost two separate things. Now you spend 99% of your time with the thing that we do, right? Because you are VP of operation of studio ops. You're trying to make studios successful or coach them and get them to come alongside us and do the right thing and make money and change lives. But the why is really important because it's going to be hard. Like if you're trying to do something significant, if you're trying to award 800 franchises in however many years, right? And you're trying to deploy a system across a wide range of personalities, people, markets, and everything else. It's not supposed to be easy.
Nope.
And sometimes it's insanely difficult. Like we pushed through like that friction point that we always heard about, that 40 to 60-ish, right? We're barely on the other side of that, where we get that flywheel effect of like just rinse and repeat, tweaks, small tweaks. But it's hard when you're going through that. You can feel like you're going insane sometimes, right? Because you're like, are we crazy? Like, it's just hard. Right. And we've never done it. But I think we did a good job of preparing ourselves for, hey, this is not going to be easy. But then ultimately, why are we doing it? Well, we love entrepreneurship. So we love people to become entrepreneurs. And we love watching the self-advocacy that comes with that. And then we love what we do, as far as like what we do in market, like what people receive as the ultimate product. It's like the most noble thing you can do. It's not easy. I mean, something everybody needs, nobody wants. You got to sell it. You got to convince people. You got to change habits. It's all that. But It's a worthy pursuit, right? And so I think for me anyway, for 34 years, whether I was training in my gym 12 hours a day, traveling around the world, standing on a soapbox for licensing, or now the why has always been so compelling that I never woke up and didn't want to do it. You always tease me about like, if I'm in front of a group, Matt, you guys will always say, you'll never meet a more excited CEO than this guy.
I mean, it's true.
It is true because I love it.
Right.
And I love it because of what it does. I like business in general. I mean, sure, if we were franchising some widget or something that wasn't as useful for society, would I still get excited? Maybe, because I like the game and I like the business. But ultimately, when we stand at conference and we show those videos and we bring those clients up, I mean, everybody in the crowd's in tears. Everybody there was like, you don't even need to do a discovery day for franchising. Just show this video and say, who wants to change lives like this, right?
Right.
So it's good to remind us, I think more importantly, more than anyone, because we're one step removed from the end product. There's someone between us, which is the franchisee and the end user. And I miss those days of just like you did, and you sat in the director's seat when we had 600 clients or whatever, right? And we had all these levels of stuff we were doing.
Right.
And you met with all those people all those years, and that can be difficult, but it's very gratifying. Do you agree? Yeah,
I mean, we're 1 degree removed from what the end user's doing, right? The owners are the ones that come in here, they want the passion to help somebody, and then they also are looking for that vehicle to give them an opportunity, right? So we're helping them, right? That's our why, and then they get to do their why on the other side. So it's all the same. It's just 1 degree removed, and it's not like, weight loss, whatever it was back in the day.
Right.
It's the same stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But that drives your business more than like if we just sat here and we're worried about numbers and money and all day. Like, you good job, you take care of the people in front of you, you help them become successful, all that things come with it.
Right.
Generally, right?
Yeah. It's like the manifestation of like, it's kind of like when we talk about numbers in a studio. We have a lot of franchisees who have been financially successful, so they don't have any financial pain. And maybe for them, it's a passion project, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like making more money in a location is the proof that you are changing lives because more people are being affected.
Yep.
More people are paying you, and you're changing more lives. So like, there's nothing wrong with making money either. And it's my 2 favorite things. Fitness is a lifelong pursuit. I think everybody can agree it's a noble thing to do. And then on the other hand, I love entrepreneurship. So like, when I have people come in and they're like, hey, I've been working for a big corporate for 25 years. I don't want to do this anymore. There's no purpose. I don't even know why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I don't enjoy it. It's like, again, to a person, people that are interested in investing in an alloy mention purpose as something that they're looking for. And so it's a big enough why for us to give them that opportunity to feel what I've felt for 34 years or what you felt for the last 15 years, which is like, yeah, some days are hard, but like what we do is pretty dope, right? And then it's important for them to be able to experience that and then pass that down to their teams, and then if they hire well and they have good people there, then that why is like, we can give more people career opportunities in the fitness business. I like that as well. And then ultimately we're going to change the lives of people and see the fruits of it. And though we don't get to put our hands on it selfishly, we get to do it at scale. So we're helping so many more people.
Yep.
I did the math at conference and it ended up being like 8 million people by the time you estimate. I way underestimated how many people each individual in the world, so to speak, will touch how many people in their lives. And again, according to the experts at ChatGPT, according to the robots, it's around 100 people. I only used 10. And if we used a 10 multiple across our gyms at 800 locations, where we're going to be, and then if we just double that, like if that one person is positively affecting 10 people because they're healthier, live longer, or whatever those things are, live better, and then those 10 people are affected, just one step removed, it put us at 8 million people. A couple more generations beyond that, or a couple more steps beyond that, it's like the population of the whole world. So it's pretty freaking cool. That's a big enough why.
Absolutely.
Changing the world? I would say so. That'll do it.
Check.
And then, so that's the second one. The last one is just keeping the main thing. And I know that terminology we've used a lot, but what I find is in franchising, there are so many things to do. There's legal, there's compliance, there's tech, there's all these things. And the main thing is, again, going back to, it's all about people. Like the main thing is that franchisees are successful, period.
Yeah, I think we do pretty good with that, honestly. Because, a lot of this is, there's the bigger you get, the more distractions, things pop up, more people chiming in on stuff. And I think we do a pretty good job of kind of blocking out some of those things. You keep us kind of in line, all of us.
I think I'm pretty good at cutting through the chaff and just being like, hey, like here's, like, hey, hold on. Like, this is the main thing. Like, let's just focus on that. But I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's pretty simple. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like weight loss, simple, not easy. But like, if we just help franchisees be successful, everything else takes care of itself. That takes care of sales because validation's there. Right. I'm really proud of last year, in a year that was like an off year for sales because of the election. Still killed it, but you know what I mean.
This year?
Yeah, I keep saying last year. I feel like I'm in a new year. Sorry, folks. I'm living in the future. If we say earlier this year, in the third quarter, a third of our licenses awarded were to existing franchisees. So that's amazing. Like you can't get better validation than that, right? That's awesome. And so, but yeah, I think with all of the activity that goes around the franchise, it's easy to get focused on the stuff and not the main thing. Yeah. And the main thing is it's what it's always been, right? Like give somebody an opportunity that's a relevant vehicle where they can get return on investment. It's possible. I can't say it's going to happen because it's franchising and I'll get in trouble. So it's possible that you get return on investment. Get them open in a timely manner as fast as we can. And we've improved that. We're like 6 weeks quicker than we used to be, and it's moving in the right direction. And then get them to revenue, right? Like that's it. That takes care of the whole thing, right? Your sales on the front end, you're getting people open, and they're getting to revenue and getting return on investment. And the end result of that is what we talked about. We're helping a bunch of people. So anything that is not doing that, that's absolutely necessary, we are taking a hard look at it, always.
Yeah.
It's like, is this necessary? Like, what are we doing? Does it drive more sales? Does it get them open quicker or with integrity, but quicker? And does it get them to revenue? Like, are they helping more people?
Right.
If it's not doing any of those things, what are we doing? We're spinning our wheels, right? And yes, there's 1,000,001 functions that are underneath that. And of course, I'm always accused of like oversimplifying. I will argue it's kind of my job, but I think it can be offensive when I'm like, well, just do the thing. And everyone in the meeting's like, do you have any idea what that means? I'm like, I do not, but I just want to do the thing. And everyone's like, dude, there's a lot more to it. I'm like, nah, just do it. But I think it's important, right, to do that, not comically, but just to say, look, man, we just have to stay focused on getting franchises open and help them be successful.
Always.
It's like legal, this, that, compliance. There's the FDD audits, all these things that nobody really gives a rip about anyway.
All right.
All they want to do is like, hey, am I investing in something cool? Can I work with this team? Can I have a purpose? Can I do good in the world and get return on investment? That's it. And if we just keep that the main focus, if we can just do that, everything else will just take care of itself. It's just all necessary evils. But don't get bogged down in all the minutia and all the legalities and all the stuff around a franchise, because it's always going to be there, but just main focus is this, right? And if it's not, if you're spinning wheels, not working on those things, you probably ought to really review whether or not it needs to be there or not.
For sure. And
then ultimately, like you mentioned this when we were going into this podcast, I'm like, man, I feel like we say the same thing a lot because there's not a lot new under the sun. There's ways to explain things, but it's always leadership. It's always, like ownership of it and changing yourself and self-help journey disguised as a business and all the things that we say. But ultimately, like what you said is like, we should probably just do it on gratitude. And I think you're right. I mean, not only like have we built this thing, but I'm grateful for you guys as a team for like being able to put it into play because I know how hard it is. And then I'm really grateful that people see it and recognize what it is and they put their trust in us to make an investment to help them. And then I'm really grateful that they open, and if they do a great job, they get a lot of people in the gym, and like we're both making money. It's like the most aligned business ever. And I really, as hard as it is, and I hope that you agree, I really enjoy it. I do.
Oh, it's been a blast.
Yeah. I mean, most days, like, if you guys, like Matt's reputation is, and if you're listening to this as a franchisee, you get it. He's the calmest guy in the world. Like if you get Matt on the phone, you can be having a major crisis. There could be something going on, and Matt's going to talk you through it with a very level head. And that's very good for everyone. What you don't know is that after he hangs up the phone, he loses his mind. And I get to see that side of him. So he really works hard to keep it that way. But I'm really grateful for that and that we've all grown. And I think it's just fun. It's like fun to challenge yourself. You like problem solving, and this is a giant problem to be solved in the best of ways that has a really cool end result.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing on a massive scale, is like large scale problem solving on a daily basis.
Are we living in the gain right now?
Oh, the gap in the gain. We're living in the gain. Like I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am really nervous, like even talking about us doing good at all. Yeah. Right? Because I'm like,
this is not what we do.
This is not what we do. We need to get better. Got to get better. Yeah, it's hard to do that, but like we've done it better this year. Like when I look back at where we were, I can honestly say like I'm really proud of where we are. And in the past, I might not have said that. Now, with that being said, there's a ton of work to do. There's a ton of improvements we can make. And I think it's never going to change, but I think it's, I hate to admit it, Matt, and I know you and I laugh about this because we're the worst offenders, but if I can look back on it, I think I can actually admit that I'm proud of where we've been and the work that we've done, while also holding the thought that we have a lot of work to do and we have to keep improving. So
sold 300, now back to work.
Yeah, remember that? Elon Musk, wealthiest man in the world?
Yeah.
Like him or not, at that time, it was like, this was several years ago when he became the wealthiest man in the world. And then it was like, wealthiest man in the world, ... Isn't that interesting? Now back to work. Yeah. Right? That's how I feel. It's like 300, great. Not even scratching the surface, But I think to your point, it's nice to look back and say, hey, man, we're doing good work. We have a lot of ways to improve, but so far so good. And I love the work, and I'm really grateful to be with you guys. I'm really grateful for franchisees and all the clients all over the world. All over the world, listen to me. I'm getting way ahead of myself. All over the lower 48 of the United States that are putting their trust in us with their health. And man, some of the success stories are just amazing. So we will keep working hard on our end. You guys keep doing the same. If you're not with Alloy and you're in the fitness business, we see you, man. I've been there too as an independent. So just keep cranking. It's a noble thing to do. Right? Yep. It is. It's hard, but keep plugging away. And if this is not the last podcast of the year, I'll catch you on that one. But if it is, Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you guys in the year that apparently I'm already living in, which is 2025.
Yeah, who wins the college football national championship?
Yeah, boy, wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, I got to get out of here. I got to go to Vegas. I'm laying out some heavy money. I came from the future. So, all right, I'll see you, man.
Cheers.
Peace.